The Cosmos, the Macrocosm, Part 2. There is one fact more to learn about this rising and falling. The seed comes out of the tree. It does not immediately become a tree, but has a period of inactivity, or rather, a period of very fine, unmanifested action. The seed has to work for some time beneath the soil. It breaks into pieces, degenerates it as it were, and regeneration comes out of that degeneration. In the beginning, the whole of this universe has to work likewise for a period in that minute form, unseen and unmanifested, which is called chaos, and out of that comes a new projection. The whole period of one manifestation of this universe is going down into the finer form, remaining there for some time and coming out again, is in Sanskrit called the kalpa or a cycle. Next comes a very important question, especially for modern times. We see that the finer forms develop slowly and slowly and gradually become grosser and grosser. We have seen that the cause is the same as the effect, and the effect is only the cause in another form. Therefore, this whole universe cannot be produced out of nothing. Nothing comes without a cause, and the cause is the effect in another form. Out of what has this universe been produced then? From a preceding fine universe. Out of what has man been produced? The preceding fine form. Out of what has the tree been produced? Out of the seed, the whole of the tree was there in the seed. It comes out and becomes manifest. So the whole of this universe has been created out of this very universe existing in a minute form. It has been made manifest now. It will go back to that minute form and again will be made manifest. Now we find that the fine forms slowly come out and become grosser and grosser until they reach their limit. And when they reach their limit, they go back further and further, becoming finer and finer again. This coming out of the fine and becoming gross, simply changing the arrangements of its part, as it were, is what in modern times called evolution. This is very true, perfectly true. We see it in our own lives. No rational man can possibly quarrel with these evolutionists. But we have to learn one more thing. We have to go one step further, and what is that? That every evolution is preceded by an involution. The seed is the father of the tree, but another tree was itself the father of the seed. The seed is in the fine form out of which the big tree comes, and another big tree was the form which is involved in that seed. The whole of this universe was present in the cosmic fine universe. The little cell which becomes afterwards the man was simply the involved man and becomes evolved as a man. If this is clear, we have no quarrel with the evolutionists, for we see that if they admit this step instead of their destroying religion, they will be the greatest supporters of it. We see then that nothing can be created out of nothing. Everything exists through eternity and will exist through eternity. Only the movement is in succeeding waves and hollows going back to fine forms and coming out into gross manifestations. This involution and evolution is going on throughout the whole of nature. The whole series of evolution, beginning with the lowest manifestation of life and reaching up to the highest, the most perfect man, must have been the involution of something else. The question is, the involution of what? What was involved? God. The evolutionist will tell you that your idea that it was God is wrong. Why? Because you see God is intelligent. But we find that intelligence develops much later on in the course of evolution. It is in man and the higher animals that we find intelligence, but millions of years have passed in this world before this intelligence came. This objection of the evolutionists does not hold water, as we shall see by applying our theory. The tree comes out of the seed, goes back to the seed. The beginning and the end are the same. The earth comes out of its cause and returns to it. We know that if we can find the beginning, we can find the end. E converso. If we find the end, we can find the beginning. If that is so, take this whole evolutionary series from the protoplasm at one end to the perfect man at the other, and this whole series is one life. In the end, we find the perfect man, so in the beginning it must have been the same. Therefore, the protoplasm was the involution of the highest intelligence. You may not see it, but that involved intelligence is what is uncoiling itself until it becomes manifested in the most perfect man. That can be mathematically demonstrated. If the law of conversation, if the law of conservation of energy is true, you cannot get anything out of a machine unless you put it in there first. The amount of work that you get out of an engine is exactly the same as you have put into it in the form of water and coal, neither more nor less. The work I am doing now, it's just what I put into me in the shape of air, food, and other things. It is only a question of change and manifestation. There cannot be added in the economy of this universe one particle of matter or 1 foot-pound of force, nor can one particle of matter or 1 foot-pound of force be taken out. If that be the case, what is this intelligence? If it was not present in the protoplasm, it must have come out all of a sudden, something coming out of nothing, which is absurd. It therefore follows absolutely that the perfect man, the free man, the God man who has gone beyond the laws of nature and transcended everything, who has no more to go through this process of evolution through birth and death, that man called the Christian man by the Christians and the Buddha man by the Buddhists, and the free by the yogis, that perfect man who is at one end of the chain of evolution, was involved in the cell of the protoplasm, which is at the other end of the same chain.